what impact did last night's game with Denver and Philadelphia have on your vote for MVP?
It actually didn't have any impact, and that's unfortunate because I really felt like had Joel Embiid played, it would have given a little more clarity to the situation. Look, Joel has, I think, 2 more chances to really put his stamp on the MVP. Philly has a game against Boston and another game against Giannis in Milwaukee. So he still has 2 opportunities to, I think, sway some people here. But as of right now, look, it's a deadlock between those 3 guys for me.
Yeah, I'm just disappointed as a basketball fan because this is what you want. And I know that it's, there's probably load management here, but, this is what the NBA has given us, JJ. Like, we know that these things happen. I don't know how serious this injury is. I don't know how much it mattered that he was going to have this game in Denver after he smoked, the Joker in Philadelphia. But as a fan, it's hard to have appointment viewing anymore during the regular season.
That's fair. I will say this. I know Joel very well. I played with him for 2 seasons. We're very close friends. And I know how much this matters to him, this particular award. It does. And if he could have played last night, he would have played. I believe that. I do feel for the fans. I feel for anybody who is a fervent supporter and viewer of the NBA that we don't always get to see the matchups that we want to see on a nightly basis because of somewhat because of load management, but also, look, injuries are up. The game is played in a different way. I mean, Dan, we have this second spectrum tracking data, cameras in every arena, right? We've had that for 10 years. We've got 10 years of data. And over the course of time, in those 10 years, essentially the court has gotten 20% bigger. That's 20% more area that a player has to cover. The pace is up significantly. So you're doing more on a basketball court. You're covering more space. You're doing it faster. Transition is up. The 3-pointers are up, which means you have to guard further out. And so I think it some of it is load management and some of it is legitimate injuries.
Yeah. Well, and look, Embiid is just getting the brunt of it because it's right now. He's a wonderful player, and you can give him the MVP. There's value in showing up. And he's missed, 14 games this year? I don't know how much that impacts the voters here, but it was just more of a fan. I was disappointed that I didn't get to see it because I want Embiid. I want him to earn it. I want him to win it. I don't want him to back in where we go, he missed 17 games and Joker's team's best record in the West, like all of those things. Because I voted before and got criticized because I voted Jordan every year. And then people say, what about the year Barkley had or Karl Malone? I go, yeah, but Mike's going to win the championship. So I valued guys who were going to play, and I knew they were going to win. Whether that was fair or not, in my mind, how do I equate what is value to you, what is value to me?
Well, I think it's very subjective.
Yeah.
And I do think the criteria does change year to year. People talk about narrative in sports all the time. Narratives are actually based in fact. Narrative is simply storytelling. That's all it is. And so I think the narrative of what the MVP means in a particular season is different in prior seasons. And I don't think we can look at historical precedences when voting on this year's MVP or next year's MVP. We have to ask ourselves, who was the most valuable player this season? And it's very clear it's 3 guys. You bring up the point about games missed. Look, Giannis sat out last night.
Yeah.
That was his 16th game missed.
Yep.
There's been one player in NBA history who has missed 15 or more games and won MVP. That was Bill Walton, who missed 24 games in 1978. Here's the other thing about Giannis. His personal win percentage, when on the court this year, is 74.6. There's been 7 times in NBA history where a guy's averaged 30 a game and had a personal win percentage of 75% or better. 6 of those times, the guy won the MVP. So how do we talk about these games missed in the modern era? In today's NBA, it's unrealistic to expect any player, much less an MVP, to play 80, 81, 82 games. It's not going to happen. This is the new norm. Unless the schedule changes, unless we reduce the games, this is what's going to happen. And so we kind of have to look at it through that lens, I think. And look, Jokic, to me, he's been the front runner. There was a 2-week stretch there where Denver was awful.
Yeah.
And Joel made this incredible push in March, 10 straight games of 30 or more, shooting 50 or more, 50% or better from the field. Like, it's a 3-man race. They're all deserving. And to me, I found out over the weekend, I'm going to have a vote. It's going to come down to the last few days of the regular season. I'm looking at Giannis's personal win percentage. I'm looking at how many games he misses, how many games Joel misses. I'm looking at Denver's record. That stuff matters.